Even with the top now sitting 2 inches lower, there's still far more metal work to be done on this old Hudson.
We lay this out in 4 weeks worth of build. Metal week, body week, paint week, and assembly week. So when you're slicing a top on anything, you got to get guys that know what they're doing, no rookies. So I did a lot of research. A lot of these guys I've known for years or have respected their work or seen pictures of their work in magazines and online. I got the right crew this week.
It's looking really good. It's down to fine finesse metal finishing. These guys are amazing. It's going great.
I actually had like almost 50 people that wanted to come for Metal Work Week because they wanted to help chop a car. So I kind of had to narrow it down.
And the metal wizards Tim chose bring some amazing skills, including Voodoo Larry Grobe, Pat Keating, Zach Horn, Daniel Valjevac, Brad Westergaard, and Brad Starks, along with his protege they call Matchstick, who gave the rear some uniqueness.
What I've been doing to the bumper is working in a set of bumper guards from a mid-50s Chevy and also a license plate surround, I believe from a late 40s Chevy as well. So it has a smooth shaved look to match the front bumper, which was already that way.
We're fortunate that Jet Tools of Laverne, Tennessee donated a variety of metal machinery to the tech center. Their 24-inch planishing hammer is perfect for another custom touch. Hudson's came with what many thought were unattractive running lights on the grill. And since the owner provided these wooden bucks, 18-gauge steel is used to form the extensions for a smooth look.
Getting a real good fit.
Since we took some metal out of here, we chopped the top, brought this down. Not only do you got to do everything on the outside and all the window mechanisms and tracks, you got to do the garnish moldings. This is a garnish molding. Interior trim. It just doesn't fit quite right anymore. So I'm going to cut it. I'll screw the top piece on, cut out, screw, and start welding back together.
Of all the metal masters Tim has picked for this build, Voodoo Larry has the coolest name.
We gotta chop the wing window frame down.
I'm a top chop guy. You know, I like to chop the tops on cars. I've done close to 50 cars now, and all the way from Model A's up to 60s cars. Of course, I like chopping radical. I like 5, 6, 7, 8-inch chops on cars. I like them make them look hammered. In my opinion, I think every 50s car should have bent windows. They came with them from the factory. You know, a lot of guys, they kind of either get lazy and they don't want to cut the wing window because this is a lot of work. You got to puzzle them back together. But if it's done right, it's well worth it. You see what the Hudson looks like out there with a couple inches taken out of them.
Pivots out, pivots in. That's good. So here's the artwork of the car again. And you can see the artist, we had him just draw the stock parking lights on there. Here's what Brad Starks did. He made these pieces from scratch to taper this off. You can see how big the original parking lights were. Then once he built this, since that parking light was so big, this was short, so they added this on, metal finished all that, welded this onto here, and that'll be all taken care of when it's chromed. Pretty awesome.
Next, more custom touches for this 51 Hudson Hornet. Stay tuned. Three days into the build, Tim Strange and his volunteer team have already logged over 500 man-hours into chopping the top and smoothing over this rare 51 Hudson Hornet coupe.
I think the amount of work that we're doing to it and the amount of time we have is surprising because there's cars that get this much work and it takes months to do. So we've got so many guys here that it's taken, you know, a couple of days to do this much work to it. It's a lot of work to be doing in like 3 days.
So another thing we're doing to make this thing custom and really safe is Scott's Hot Rod sent us this underneath the dash, right angle, master cylinder, power booster, and brake pedal assembly that goes underneath the dash. It doesn't come through the firewall at all. And to check it, it's got a remote reservoir so you can check and fill from the engine compartment. That's the only thing that's gonna be on the firewall. Pretty custom.
Now, one of the most labor-intensive jobs is next. The guys have to grind down every part of this Hudson to get old paint and residue off the car to make sure it's ready for next week, when filler, primer, and paint are applied. But this certainly doesn't signal we're done.
Due to the fact that we chopped the top on the car does not have a finished edge around the windows. The molding does not fold around the window, the rubber molding, so we have to cut down the factory stainless to make it fit the new openings. They're 2 inches shorter, and we leaned the B-pillar, so now all the angles have changed too. So what we've done here is made a little jig that is going to hold our moldings flat as we try to bend them because the molding tries to fold over as it's put a sharper bend in it. We'll clamp this down. We're going to heat this edge, and we can pull it under here, and we'll pull more bend into it, and it'll keep it from folding due to the gap that we measured out, the same as the molding. On a scale of 1 to 10, this is probably a 9.8 on difficulty. There's no room for body filler or anything because it's all got to be polished. So everything has to be welded, hammered straight, filed out. I don't know why Tim chose us to do the job. Probably because he didn't want to do it himself.
Today, we got to build the exhaust. We'll finish the rear suspensions, make the shock mounts, the lower airbag mounts, put the dash back in final. I think that's about it.
I don't know if it's kismet, karma, or just plain luck, but Brad used to run an exhaust shop, and he's the guy really kind of masterminding this exhaust system, so we're gonna have an awesome exhaust system.
Yeah, that's the one I had over here that we're gonna have to use. I didn't know. Today we've got 2 complete Flowmaster universal exhaust systems. Between the 2, we're gonna fabricate one system for the Hudson and install it today. From the headers, back, through the mufflers, and out by the back bumper.
Helping Brad out is Daniel Valjevac. Daniel just celebrated the open house of his 6,000 square foot hot rod shop in Huntersville, North Carolina. He's a native of Serbia who left his homeland when he was 12 for a better life in the good old USA. It is perhaps Daniel who has traveled farther than anyone to get to the tech center.
Cars over there, mostly hatchbacks, diesels, 4 cylinders, just a whole bunch of different European cars.
So needless to say, Daniel seemed very pleased with our big American 51 Hudson and the way it was turning out.
Ja mislim da su kola ispala veoma dobro, imaju dobre linije, izgledaju veoma klasično. Svi ljudi što su bili radili tu su veoma dobri majstori. That's it.
The Hudson is a unibody, so we cut a C, that's hence a C-notch, tilted like this. We cut out of the frame for axle clearance to go up. Boxed it all in, welded it up, ground it down. We wanted the exhaust up and over the rear end, so we cut part of the floor out, built the exhaust, and then built a new pan. I think like 5.5 inches we raised the trunk floor.
The custom touches don't stop with an air ride suspension.
Part of the thing of a custom car, it's kind of an artistic expression of what everybody thinks their dream car is. And old Dave from Brad Stark's place, they know him as Matchstick. He come up with this really cool thing to do on the bumper.
I made the license plate pop the trunk.
Pretty cool. So week 1, with all this custom metal work we done, we're just shy of 600 man hours. Man, that is insane. We started out with a stock-bodied 51 Hudson Hornet at the beginning of the week. The end of the week, 5 days, custom lights, custom bumpers, custom part of the grill, a few inches out of the top, and man, a really cool ride height.
There's not a straight, sharp angle anywhere on the car. Everything on it's round.
We got so much work done this week. We had 9 guys in here, all total pros in whatever they do, building customs, lead sleds, hot rods. Awesome metal, man. I did good homework because these guys were unbelievable.
I think we'll pack up and go home.
New week means new crew as the Hudson is prepped for the paint booth. Stay tuned. With the start of a new week come new volunteers. Tim rounded up some serious fresh meat from across the country and even a guy from New Zealand to assist in bringing this Hudson Hornet out of retirement.
What we'll do first thing is we're gonna take the grinders. Most of the grinding and metal work's already been done on it. It sat over the weekend with a little humidity. Oil from the hands has rusted it up a little bit, so we're just gonna take the grinders over it, rough it back up with some 36 grit. And then we're gonna roll it over the prep station. I like to do is mix up a little of the U-Paul, it's a fiberglass Bondo mixture, and just skim over every place where there's welds. Bodywork week on week 2 is the most labor intensive, hardest working, a lot of sweat, and man, we work our butts off. So we spent all day body working this thing, and we skim coated it with body putty. It looks like a lot to some of you guys at home, but you can see there's a lot of metal cut throughs. That means it's just a skim coat, really, really thin. We spread it, we sand it, we spread it, we sand it, we spread it, we sand it, and get it really, really smooth and flat. Getting ready to put it down, wheel it in the booth, and put some primer on it.
Because this is the most labor-intense week, build leader Tim Strange combed through dozens of volunteer applications. The 8 guys chosen came from all parts of the country.
The crew from Michael's Precision Automotive from Las Vegas, New Mexico. They drove up all the way from New Mexico. Anything you want them to do, they'll do it.
It is a true family business. We built the shop from nothing to probably, it's the most recognized shop in Las Vegas.
They will not sit, they won't stand still, anything. Hey boss, what do you want to do? Hey boss, what do you want me to do? You guys from New Mexico, quit calling me boss.
Other volunteers this week include a pair of gearheads from Indy and another from Daytona Beach who took vacation to soak in the search and restore experience.
Best part, really, just getting to work with the guys and build something cool and just watch it evolve quickly and get a lot of satisfaction out of that.
We got Ronnie. He came down from Indianapolis. Ronnie came to me the beginning of the week and kind of says, I'm not that comfortable doing body work, but I can do it. You got some fab work that I can do? So once the radiator showed up and the fans from All-Star, I put him to work on that and he nailed it.
All-Star provided us with this universal radiator, and I will be creating a radiator mount to install into the 51 Hudson.
Ronnie cuts the steel and the shroud starts to take shape.
Right now I've got the main structure built and I'm just tacking it together.
Once it's welded and sanded, Ronnie snips the shroud for proper radiator fitment.
Nice comfy home for our radiator.
First day with a new crew, sometimes it's a little slow. They get used to cameras, where the tools are and everything. And just the amount of hours that we put in yesterday with the crew that we had was somewhere between 120 and 150 man hours in one day. Man, I think this is the fastest, hardest working crew right out of the gate that we've had yet.
Coming up, we'll connect with our owner and his wife via the internet and provide a sneak peek at the power plant for his Hudson Beast. Stay tuned. In a little over a week, Tom's 51 Hudson has undergone a full body treatment, from a 2-inch chop, headlight, taillight, and bumper transformations, and subtle modifications that cry full-on custom.
If you're used to like collision or late model jobs where you ding a shopping cart hits you or whatever and you got a little bitty spot that you body work, these things, it's a 1951. So it's gonna have some ripples. And back then, the stampings from the factory weren't all that awesome, so there's some factory waves and ripples in it anyway. If you had to metal finish that till it needed absolutely no filler work, you would be here till the cows come home.
Which is why Tim and the team spent the last 24 hours bodyworking the Hudson to fill in the imperfections.
So everybody always asks us what kind of primer we use. Well, here it is. Clausen makes a Z-Chrome Rust Defender. It's a polyester primer. It's got some zinc in it, so it bites to the bare metal, and it feels like unbelievable. All of our paint and body supplies, other than the color and the clear, comes from Auto Body Color here in Nashville. When I told them that we're gonna body work this thing and we're not gonna go to sleep until it's in first primer, I kinda got that look like, what? And then like, man, we had it in the booth before we even stopped for pizza last night. So we baked it, we're pulling it out this morning. We're gonna sand it again. We're gonna prime it again. We're gonna sand some more. And then we're gonna prime it again and sand some more.
I said, you can sand if you want to. You can leave your sand behind.
Got this guy named Tony. He emailed me like 100 times. Wanted to come be on the show, wanted to come be on the show. And so I plugged him in and he's been awesome.
Tim Strange bought these 3M blocks that are mainly for marine use, and he's adapted them to automotive use. They're real long, fat, wide, they're lightweight, and they really give you a good long blocking service to do a nice X pattern, and it really saves time and does a great job as far as the overall appearance of the bodywork itself.
The team had to use a dummy engine block for mock-up. That is until the real deal arrived.
Now we wanted to honor the history between Chrysler and Hudson and stick with the big block 440 based engine. Now Indy Cylinder Head got wind of how we're helping out a POWERBLOCK viewer, and this is how they decided to lend a helping hand. It's their 500-inch street wedge crate engine based off the legendary Chrysler 440. It's been fully tested, dyno tuned, run in, and it's ready to run right out of the box. Aluminum heads, dual plane intake, Eagle crank, and this puppy runs on pump gas at 9.5 to 1 compression, kicking out an awesome 525 horse and 575 foot-pounds of torque.
With bodywork nearly complete and our big block in-house, it was a good time to check in with our owner from his home in Michigan.
Good morning. How you guys doing today?
Good morning.
Great,
We're doing
good
great.
morning.
This is Tom and Lisa Moore. They own the Hudson that we were working on. Are you ready to see some little teasers for your car?
Yep, I'm pumped.
We had just a little bit of problem with the car, and we got some leftover parts. I think that came out of the door post, and this might have come out of like the B pillar. So are you still okay with us finishing it?
Yep,
Yeah.
I trust you 100%.
Yes.
We got this guy here. You might know him. He's from trucks. Kevin's helping us.
Tom, I gotta ask you, I can't imagine what it's like not having your car with you and just trusting somebody else sending it all those miles away. What does it feel like?
It's been like a whirlwind to walk out to the garage and have the wide open space there. And I have different dreams every night about what it could possibly look like.
We got something else that we want to show you. Kevin, bring it in.
Okay.
This bad boy is from our friends at Indy Cylinder Head. We wanted to stick with a Chrysler-based motor. This is a 440-based 500-inch block. It's got all the best stuff. This thing will carry you down the road, my friend. 525 horsepower, 575 foot-pounds.
It's unreal.
So this means quite a bit to both of you.
We've been waiting so long, and I found that little note I wrote to him years ago that I promised his car would get done no matter what, and we just found the note.
That's
and
awesome.
It just brought it all back.
You didn't really pay close attention the whole time we did all this. Now I'm hiding my hands. If you would have paid attention, you might have got a glimpse of what color the car is, but now you can't see my hands any longer. Okay, I'm gonna get back to work.
Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you so much.
Yep, no problem, man. I gotta get back to it.
All right.
See ya.
Yep, you take care, Tim. Thank you. Thank everybody.